I'll tell folks what's coming up this half hour in a moment. And we do have people outside of our studio right now who are going to talk about a new art exhibit. It's called the Her Stories Project. And they just had the opening reception last night in the city. It's been bringing together newcomers, primarily Afghan refugees, who have been working with local Indigenous and newcomer artists. And so we'll learn more about that project coming up. Well, it was a big night for some women in our city yesterday. Art fans were able to check out the work of a group of newcomers at the opening reception for the Her Stories project. For 10 months, Afghan refugees have been working with local Indigenous and newcomer artists to make connections and learn from each other. So here to tell us more about the project and the reception last night is lead artist Muveddet Al-Katib. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much.
And then we also have Plains Cree artist Honey Constant-Inglis, who is working with the newcomers on the ribbon skirt making project. Hi, Honey.
Good morning. Hello.
So good to have you here. So I can tell you're still smiling and kind of buzzing from last night.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Muveddet, take us back to last night. How was that opening reception?
Oh, it was a fantastic, and the moment is just came again to all the memories, and because we created a great community together. It's not about the product, and I strongly believe that art is not an object; it's a social necessity.
Art is not. Say that again. It's not a social necessity.
Art is not an object.
Not an object.
It's a social necessity.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, and because I feel like the art is the most beautiful things is like a breaking your bread together and to share your stories and share your moments each other's. And in this project, we use the art as a tool, connect to our Afghan refugee women to their new community, each other's, and also we want to connect to their own cultures and language and this land. Yeah. So we were almost working with the 45 Afghan all age groups, and they've been, when we started 10 months ago, they were in Canada less than a month or 3-4 months, and they were really new, and we want to create something is for them to be connect and feel good about themselves.
Mm-hmm. And a big part of that was to help connect them to this place and to this land and
It is, and we have the two things is that we want them to feel also make this home, because they are coming very they are leaving, they have to leave their house and home and everything in their family, and when you come to a new place you want to be connected, and of course, and if you don't understand these lands and stories and connected to people and with the First Nation people, you don't feel they're fully connected. But at the same time, I want them to connect their own language, their own cultures, because without their own language and their cultures, they are not the same people. And everything was new for them, and the language and cities and cultures, and we want to also continue their own community together.
And just following along on social media, I was seeing how these different pieces of people and places were coming together. So there was some stitching, some embroidery in Dari. I saw ribbon skirts. So, Honey, that's where you played a big part, right? So tell me about your role in this and how you tried to teach others about this place and a little bit about who you are.
Mm-hmm. So I was invited to come into the project in the space in the community by Muveddet, who's also just a really good friend. And when our very first time meeting each other, we started with hanging earrings, and we talked about beadwork and colors, and a lot of the things that we have is all based on stories and worldviews. So we really got to talk about the Indigenous worldviews, again, from the Indigenous perspective, specifically Plains Cree. And I got to tell them all these stories, and they asked really good questions. And
what kind of questions?
I think one of our conversations evolved into a podcast episode to talk about what is it like to be an Indigenous woman today. And we had a lot of good conversations, and it was really interesting. And of course, one of the youth actually interviewed me. So she had a lot of good questions. Can I remember it all right now? Absolutely not.
Well, I do want to ask you something specific, because as you were making ribbon skirts, there was the use of mirrors. And I don't know which one of you can speak to that, but maybe Muveddet, because that comes from
some Eastern cultures. So the idea was that, and we were discussing that, and I always have to, because as a newcomer, and I picked a ribbon skirt project with Honey. The reason is the skirt is representing this land. And I like to take it as a metaphoric things. And of course, we follow the, indigenous, cultures, protocols, and we were guided with Elder Mary and Honey for that project. But also, I would like to add up their own cultures and language too. And the idea is we added up the mirrors, and the mirrors is a very common things in Eastern cultures on the woman's clothes. And I want them to bring on their own handworks, and because how you can continue their cultures and language in this land. But the mirror has a two things there too. One is for the more decorative and continue the same cultures, but also I want to add those mirrors because how the people looking at them, and when there are differences, it's not about that person, how you are looking at that person, how the truth change based on your perspective. And that's why I find the mirrors on the ribbon skirt was so powerful to connect that woman from the outsider, and outsider will connect them to, but at the same time they see their own reflections. And that's why they need to always have the best smile, because when they come to the idea about about them, but they are going to see their self on the mirror, and they have to smile back because they have to bring the good energy to their self, and the good energy create the other people too.
And so did the women leave feeling a greater connection to here, do you think? Like, Honey, what was the transformation that you've seen over the last several months?
Oh my goodness. There's so much, even in myself. Like, we were just mentioning this yesterday when I was looking through the photos that are in the displays. It kind of felt like you were walking along a timeline. You could see them, their smiles grow in the photos and get bigger and bigger. And I think the thing that we were just really excited about was just the sense of community and Wagoto and relationships and friendships. And I think we really found a lot of comfort in each other.
Yeah, and Muveddet, you too?
Absolutely. Even some of the sessions were silent, and because unfortunately the war is still continuing in Afghanistan, and they were losing their family members. And sometimes we were sitting just, next to each other, shoulder to shoulder, and we want to just make them feel we are together, and they don't need to do it by themselves. And it's not about bringing the best of it. It's about bringing the worst and best all passing together, and as a immigrant women in our new community, and engaging with Honey and Elder Mary was an incredible experience for us. So, and I've been so lucky to working with Honey and others. So it really helped me to connect this land, and also it helped me to connect my own culture as well.
And your culture is?
I am from Turkey, yes, and for Eastern cultures, and that is important to know, to understand the other cultures and true history and traditions in this land, and you can be more comfortable. You can say, okay, this is who I am. I can bring this and I can learn that. And this is all about the sharing. But we were so lucky. I have to bring up we have two artists working for this project as well, Yasem and Elham, and they were with us for 10 months, and they are the newcomer artists from Iran, and they're fantastic, person and artists, and they were a very big part of this programs. And they help and they connect, and we build a great community all together. And this is one of the best experience, and especially last night when all the participants entering to the gallery and seeing that what they done together, and again all the excitement comes to the rooms, and we feel that okay, this is all about it.
I feel it just by being in the same room as you, and I can't wait to get there, because there are those pieces of Afghanistan, there's pieces of Saskatchewan, and I can see this beautiful coming together through the works that were created. So thank you so much for sharing a bit of that with us. I really appreciate this. Honey, thank you.
Thank you.
Honey Constant-Inglis and Muveddet Al-Katib, both women were working with Afghan refugees and newcomers in the Her Stories project. The opening reception happened at the BAM Gallery inside the downtown Drinkle Mall, and it's on for quite some time, and so there's still an opportunity for you to see it as well. I'm Leisha Grabinski. You're listening to Saskatoon Morning on CBC Radio One, 94.1 FM.